Hey y'all, welcome back to Weekly Hyperfixations. If you're new here, I'm Riot. Let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Honestly, mostly a silly, goofy episode this week, thank goodness. I am gonna get the one negative thing I have written down that's like genuinely negative. The other one's just like not serious but negative, but we'll get through those two things and then I'll just be yapping about silly goofy stuff the rest of the time. All right, let's go. So first and foremost, this kind of happened last week. I do not participate in Art Fight, but literally like half of the people from my high school friend group do, or have at some point. And this year they decided to do something really scummy, which is Art Fight declared that you were not allowed to use 3D models or reference photos without giving full credit, or just to not use them or reference photos you need credit. 3D models you're just straight up not allowed to use because it's quote unquote considered cheating. Obviously the art community went ham on them because that's dumb as fuck. What do you mean I have to credit a picture I took of my own hand? Also, they're misconstruing the difference between tracing an outline of your reference and tracing an entire piece. Clearly, they don't understand the difference between those two things. However, they wanted to say no to those things, but then allow people to just have random photos as their backgrounds in art, which is just so not... the standards aren't equal across the board, which is crazy. So that shit was insane. Also, I don't know how people who are put in charge of Art Fight are literally so clearly not artists if they genuinely think that no artist has ever used a reference or anything. A lot of people grow up drawing like their favorite manga or their favorite show or like a character they really like. And to say that you can't use reference at all is crazy because that's literally what you're taught to do in art school. So that was negative, but a little silly goofy. Now, on a different note, and I am going to follow it up with something going in the opposite direction, so fear not. Multiple things going in the opposite direction, so fear not. But with all of the pushes that people are making to try and put some sort of age restriction on the internet in general, or laws that are quote unquote to keep children safe, but obviously are just so bigoted people don't have to expose their kids to things that they hate because they're bigots. Fun fact, someone jokingly quote retweeted something talking about that ban and said, next thing you know, they're going to ban children from libraries. Well, guess what? And this happened a while back because I remember seeing this maybe even up to like a year and a half, 2 years ago. But in Idaho, you already have to show your ID at libraries and you have to be above 18 to be unaccompanied in a library in Idaho, which is fucking crazy. That's just beyond dumb. And it really shows that the push to make the general populace incompetent and uneducated is definitely a huge thing that's trying to be pushed right now. And they're doing all of it under the guise of the safety of children, when literally the number one worst place statistically for a child to grow up in, besides like in terms of institution, I mean, I guess, a school in a blue state, or do you think maybe it's, oh, I don't know, a church you know? So it's very interesting to see people who are actively making churches unsafe for children, to see them restricting children from things that would help them recognize that they're not in a safe situation. Anyway, let's move on to things going in the opposite direction of negativity. This week, Georgia defeated all of the bills that were introduced as anti-LGBTQ laws. There were 15 of them. There were 15 anti-queer bills in Georgia that just all got denied in this election. They had a drag ban. They were trying to put in a forced outing bill. So like if someone finds out that, like, say one of their students is queer, they were trying to put in a law that said that the teacher had to tell the parents. The puberty blocker ban got stopped. And there was a bill that basically there was a bill that was voted on in Georgia that basically said that if a kid was trans, you could outright abuse them by trying to convert them back yourself. And several hundred people showed up to the Capitol, and I'm real excited because I know for a fact I probably went to school with a couple individuals that were there. I do miss home a lot. And it's really telling that, like, it's telling how bad the country is that those bills even made it to the drawing floor, you know? Because I don't know if y'all are privy to this. Hello, piece of dust. Hold on. Sorry about that. Piece of cotton came in the window. Which is crazy, by the way. Let's see here. What was I on about? Oh yeah. I don't know if my audience is necessarily privy to this, but it's very entertaining to see Georgia just every election season, because we have a lot of, it's a pretty red state overall. And we got a lot of people who don't like queer folks, but then also Atlanta is like the home of drag, in a lot of ways. Obviously not like the only place that people would consider home of drag, but also people who enjoy drag generally consider RuPaul to be the queen of drag, and RuPaul started in Atlanta. So, I'm not at all surprised that we were able to shape up and push that shit out. So it's great to see. And then, oh my goodness, y'all, and I've seen a lot of tweets about this. Basically, the format of every single tweet about it I see is the whole US looks like a disaster, except for New York, who's having like a Muppet movie, everything is great, everything is grand, got the whole wide world in the palm of my hands kind of business. And I say that because Zohran Mamdani has only been in office since January, right? And already, with the taxes he put in place to tax billionaires who have, extra properties in New York that they're not actively staying in and things like that, within the 2 months that bill has been passed and active, that has helped Zohran Mamdani effectively eliminate the $12 billion budget deficit that New York had. It's gone. It's completely gone. Which is so crazy, because in case you need to like put that through a little slower, for me, I'll reiterate it. There was a $12 billion budget deficit in New York. Zohran Mamdani, Mayor Mamdani, taxed the rich, and within 2 months, that budget deficit disappeared. Okay? So now you got to ask yourself, what does this mean for maybe politicians in my area? Well, the answer is clearly, if they actually wanted to do something about it, they could. And Zohran Mamdani has shown us that he would, and he did. And it was successful. It's that one quote, and I don't remember what it's from, but it's like, remember, the next time you think the government wouldn't lie to you, oh yes, they would. Whatever that's from, I can't remember what that's from. I think it's from a video game, but that's literally the tweet there, because he successfully eliminated the budget deficit in New York, which it was ginormous. Anyway, let's move on to some more silly things. Ooh, and I have an announcement, but I will do my announcement after the pyramid. This is just a silly, goofy little thing. I was talking to a friend about like what their favorite Pokemon was, because I'm replaying Pokemon Emerald, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I have this friend who expressed to me that they've played every Pokemon game and that they really like Pokemon. I never asked what their favorite Pokemon was. I should do that. So I did, because sorry. Oh my gosh. Y'all, my mind is all over the place today. I got a big week coming up, so brain's kind of all over the place. And then, I was asking them that, and then I hop over to Twitter, find out someone has made a website where you can go and enter in your favorite Pokemon and then leave a little message saying why it's your favorite Pokemon. And let me tell y'all, every single Pokemon has, at the minimum, I checked. Now, mind you, I checked a couple days ago, but I checked, and every single Pokemon has, at minimum, 3 people who declare it as their favorite, which is crazy work. And that honestly makes me so happy to see, because especially with Pokemon that I just outright am like, I don't like this Pokemon, which is very rare. It's only ever happened to like 2 Pokemon ever, and I got over it with one of them. So, but just to see how many people, like, I encourage you, if you enjoy Pokemon, go look what people are saying about your favorite Pokemon, of course. And I'll put the link in the description to the website. And then also look at what people are saying makes your least favorite Pokemon their favorite Pokemon. Highly recommend. Because it's, I don't know, it's just a very satisfying thing to see, I guess. And I like it a lot. Also, fun fact, my favorite Pokemon as of when I put in my entry for it yesterday, Ariados, has 43 people declaring it as their favorite. Big fan. And honestly, I might check again because I want to see if the number went up, it's fun. Ross O'Donovan's pilot for the show Gameoverse came out. It's being produced by Glitch. And it had an absolutely smashing pilot that did so well. And I love seeing all the new fan art and stuff for it. Just saw the announcement for the Japanese dub of the Gameoverse pilot, and I saw it quote retweeted by the creator Ross, and he literally said, I gave these as suggestions. I didn't think they would get every single one of them, like as voice actors for the pilot. So that's also crazy. It's very good. I highly recommend watching it. It's very nice to see someone's project that they've been working on for well over a decade be so successful and so well received. Another little silly goofy thing. Sorry, that stutter was crazy, y'all. I need y'all to know that I was in that play I was in. If I couldn't quite remember my lines, sometimes I would stutter on purpose to make it sound like my character was maybe just nervous about what they were doing. And now I have a problem with it sometimes where I will start stuttering and I don't mean to, and it just happens. So bear with me when that happens. There are people out there that play Minecraft who are known as seed hunters. They are actively looking for Minecraft seeds that are very cool or have something funky, you know, something interesting that other people might want to see, and use that Minecraft seed to create a duplicate, basically, of that world that they can play in. And recently, they found a Minecraft seed that has every single biome and structure within 1,000 blocks of spawn. That's a very small distance if you're not familiar with the game. And absolutely a lot of people on the Minecraft side of Twitter are going apeshit over this Minecraft seed. A lot of people are like, what if we do another, what if everyone collectively does separate Minecraft SMPs using this Minecraft seed, which I think would go hard, honestly. But anyway, I wanted to share that with the class. And of course, I will have my editor at some point during that section put the Minecraft seed on screen. And let's see. I've got one more thing to talk about before we get to the pyramid. And then after the pyramid, I will have my announcement. So this is just a little silly, goofy thing. I recently watched a video by Jaden Animations about playing Rhythm Heaven, right? A rhythm game. And so then I recently got recommended to me a music video someone had made that was based on the PinkPantheress music video for Girl Like Me, which, if you've seen the music video for Girl Like Me and you know anything about a rhythm game, you can kind of see where the connection's coming in. Also, she herself is a big Rhythm Heaven fan. So it very clearly was at least in part intentional. But I got recommended a music video that someone completely animated that was like basically like a custom Rhythm Heaven level with the song over it, going to the beat of the song, and it was so magnificent. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Also, my ADHD brain just really loves seeing things move and do things in time, and, like, you know, music and action on the screen syncing up. Love when that happens. So if you think stuff like that is cool, I recommend checking that out. Also, kind of a banger. So let's go ahead and move on to the pyramid this week. Our bottom row of the pyramid, our first 3 spots, are all going to be taken up by Tomodachi Life Miis that I did not create, but are transplanted from my housemates. And then the top 3 of the pyramid will be more normal pyramid format. But so we're slowly transitioning out of having a Tomodachi Life pyramid, but absolutely trust that if I'm struggling with, you know, finding people to put on the pyramid, we may get another full Tomodachi Life pyramid. So first up, and this will require a little bit of context, first up on the pyramid is Agazid. Agazid is a Tomodachi Life Mii of sword form Girahim from Skyward Sword. My housemates made up a different name for him so they could distinguish between sword form Girahim and regular Girahim, and that name is Agazid. On my Tomodachi Life island, I just got him transplanted to my island from theirs for all 3 of my islands. So I have him 3 different times, technically. And he is just the little star of the show. He's doing his little pose and he's so ridiculous, and I give him all these little costumes, and he's got the creepy voice, which makes their voice kind of sound wiggly a little bit. And it is absolutely a highlight. Love this little guy, this little freak that's on my islands. So that's why Agazid is on the pyramid. Okay, next up on the pyramid, and I may have put him on a Tomodachi pyramid before. Let me check. Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, I put Cinnabar, that's why. Next up on the pyramid, specifically from my Tomodachi Life islands, is Phosphophilite. I mainly put Phosphophilite on here because he's on my islands. Phos is so very like, go on girl, give us nothing. Absolutely wonderful with the Cinnabar me that I also got from my housemate, the same housemate. But it's so funny to see, like, we've got the me of Cinnabar who's like doing all of the, like, causing all this drama or just like being really silly, and then we've got the Phosphophilite me who all he does is kind of Mario walk all over the place, and they've got gold pants on, gold shoes, and they kind of just stare at things and do nothing of any intrinsic value. And it's so funny because I almost put on one of my islands that Phos is also on, I almost made the default me like, and I would call her default and things like that. But I don't think I need to, because Phos is just like so no opinions. The only opinion that the Phosphophilite me has on any of my islands is that they like Vana, and that's it. It's really entertaining. So that's why Phos is on the pyramid. And then next up on the pyramid, and the final Tomodachi Life me on the pyramid, is a me that I got from my housemate of Medley from Wind Waker. Of course, no way to give her a beak, so she just has a really big nose. But she has the cutest voice on the goddamn planet. I had her talking to another me, and it was like, you know, what do we talk about? And I said butterfly, just because I was like, that seems like something a kid would talk about, because Medley is a kid. And you know, sometimes the me's will be like, well, if you had to choose between a small butterfly and a large butterfly, which would you choose? And in her cute little tiny little kid voice, she goes, a teeny tiny butterfly. I have never felt such cuteness aggression literally in my life, and I have interacted with many small animals and like puppies and kittens and stuff. Never felt this kind of cuteness aggression in my life. She's perfect and I love her. So that's why Medley's on the pyramid. Now we're gonna move on to the more regular pyramid, no more Tomodachi Life. Next up on the pyramid is Ross O'Donovan, otherwise known as Rubber Ross, creator of Gameoverse. Just to, again, and I think I said this when it was first announced that it was going to get an official pilot and everything, but to see, you know, Kit and Caboodle, who I've seen very early sketches of Kit and stuff, or just art that Ross draws of Kit, like on Twitch when he's streaming art on Twitch. To see those characters finally be fully formed and on screen is amazing. And the amount of dedication and work and honestly perseverance through things like self-doubt to get your animated show to the stage where it has a pilot on, like a full episode pilot, is amazing. And God, I can't imagine the amount of work and how much like weird bits of process were involved. So I just wanted to highlight that and put Ross on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid, and this is a little silly of me, but it is PinkPantheress. because I genuinely think that her music video is going to introduce a lot of people to Rhythm Heaven. And it's honestly a really good game if you do anything music related, because it really forces you to tune in to like BPM and the beat and stuff. And listening for audio cues and stuff like that. It's really good. And I think that's honestly really important. Also, she and Zara Larsson are bringing back an early 2000s aesthetic so unbelievably hard, and I'm so here for it, especially because honestly I think if we put some of our aesthetic choices back towards the 2000s, people will have very different, less egregious standards for things like clothing or like how a celebrity acts, maybe. Like, I'm really hoping partially that a lot of mostly female, honestly, singers are tuning into an older aesthetic, which makes people think of those times in our lives when we experienced that aesthetic for the first time. I'm hoping that that will really help people, you know, learn their fucking boundaries about celebrities. I mean, obviously it's not going to be perfect, but I really hope it helps. And she's stunning. Send tweet. And then of course, top of the pyramid this week is Zohran Mamdani, Mayor Mamdani. Because holy shit, you already eliminated a $12 billion budget deficit? It's gone? Really? It's to the point where New York feels like the promised land, which is something that not many people would ever say in their life. But honestly, that's how it's looking. You know, call it like you see it at that point. And of course, Mayor Mamdani caps out the pyramid. So now I'm going to share with y'all, my little announcement. Now, whether or not this will be able to see the light of day remains to be seen. Mainly because it involves a lot of like editing, and whether or not the computer I use puts up with streaming, because preferably I would stream it, but if that's not possible, then I will simply figure something out, I'm sure. But coming up, starting in 10 days, on May 30th, at, I want to say it's 5 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. CST. Yes. May 30th, 7 p.m. CST. I will be participating in an SMP, a Minecraft SMP. This one's much longer than the last one I did. Because I really didn't like how condensed everything was in the previous event I did, which was District Civilization SMP back in, I want to say like February or March or something like that. And that was really, really condensed. But this one is going to be a much more lengthy SMP. And I believe the announcement for my participation comes out either today or tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. But hopefully this comes out after the announcement. It's kind of hard to tell. But I am going to be participating in the Legacies SMP. It is a really, really cool SMP concept, if I'm completely honest. I applied for it a while back. I think I mentioned it. But everyone who has applied has built a character from a different time period, basically. I'm sure there's going to be some overlap, and I don't remember exactly how many people are participating, but it's a lot. But I'm really excited for it because I get to bring back an SMP character I had for an SMP that never saw the light of day because it was mostly just a friend group thing. And because it never saw the light of day, I'm fully at liberty to use my own character for my own shit. I mean, it is my OC that I've had for a while. But I am very excited for that. Whether or not I will be streaming remains to be determined. But I will, at minimum, record it and post it as VODs on YouTube. I will be making a separate channel for that just so y'all don't get any spam about it. So once that starts happening, you'll start seeing the links for that in the descriptions of my videos from then on out, once I start getting those posted. Let's see. Honestly, I think that's everything for this week. I hope y'all are having a good time, especially since we're coming up on, you know, a Monday that almost everyone has off kind of thing, which is always nice. I hope y'all have had a good couple weeks, and I hope you have a good rest of the month, really. I'll see y'all next time, same place, you know, as you do. Any last minute thoughts? I think that's everything. Oh, I guess I dyed my hair. I didn't even address that. Yeah. I dyed my hair this color when I was like 13, and I thought it'd be fun to give it the color one more run before I become too responsible adult or whatever the fuck. Anyways, love that I didn't address that in the bulk of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. I'll see y'all next time. See you then.